Hello, 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 and welcome back, all of my beautiful, beautiful friends from the internet. I hope you enjoyed my big, long opening breath there. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. Welcome to the podcast, all my beautiful friends from the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing spectacular on this fine Tuesday morning, or whenever you happen to be listening to this episode, whether that be morning, evening, or night. Now, like I said, if you're listening on any of the podcasting platforms, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. I have no idea how much that helps. Even if you don't listen, go to Spotify, go to Apple. Go to Spotify, go to Apple, go to the main streaming platforms, and just do whatever you can, because a helping hand is a very much appreciated thing around these parts. Remember, there's the feature in Spotify where you can also in Spotify download and listen to episodes for free. But you can answer this week's Reddit question by clicking the description of the episode, and below the description you should see a white icon that says reply. Then you can just reply, and you will be notified when your response is published. And it's just a great way so that I can interact with each and every one of you, and it's a great way to build a community. And I'm big shout out to Spotify for that feature, because I love hearing from you all every week. So with that said, I mean, why don't we read out some of the responses from the last few weeks' episodes? And because I had to pre-record some episodes, so I think what I'm going to read off was episode 181 was "What is a secret you'll never tell your parents?" So, here we go. So, first one here comes from the emoji with the dotted, unimpressed face. That my friend was addicted or is addicted to speed. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best opener there for your parents. It depends on how judgmental your parents are, I guess. I mean, I feel like to a certain extent, my parents might be like, well, we got to get them some help if they're really struggling. But some people's parents would not respond that way. Some people's parents, it's like they would definitely not be into that. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. What's going on, Phil? Nice try, Dad. But really, that I started drinking and smoking weed at age 13 at my aunt and uncle's house. I was never a huge drinker, but I loved smoking weed for a long time. 8 years clean. Well, that's a good thing. I'm proud of you, Phil. When it comes to doing anything, it's like your personal relationship with it. I know a lot of people who like to smoke a lot of weed, and they have no, they can still get all their stuff done and stuff. But I definitely know people who marijuana has been very destructive to their lives. So it's just kind of all about your relationship with it and how you were able to kind of, regulate that relationship. But good for you, Phil. And shit, yeah, I don't know. I was really planning on telling your dad, but seems like I probably shouldn't do that. Next one comes from Stressed Human. I knew they were my half-sisters. She just helped raise them. That was from a previous week's episodes. I won't tell my parents that I was addicted to ibuprofen. I'm 1 year clean now without anyone knowing. I got it myself, so they didn't see it. That's interesting. I didn't even know you could get addicted to ibuprofen. I had no clue. I didn't even know that was like a thing. Ibuprofen, that's like, wait, isn't like ibuprofen and acetaminophen like similar thing? Like, isn't that like a similar thing? Isn't ibuprofen like what is it called? Anti-inflammatory? Like, that's what I thought. But I didn't know you could get addicted to that. So that's interesting. I'm going to think about that the next time I take a Tylenol or Advil. But good for you, though. Good for you. And it's too bad you couldn't bring that up to your parents. Yeah, I'm really struggling with this thing. I think I'm addicted to ibuprofen. And your parents are like, addicted? Yeah, we don't do addictions in this household. Yeah, we understand, we get it's like destructive to your lives. But you know what? That's a personal choice. So we're going to throw you out on the street now. Have fun with the rest of your life. How horrifying of an experience that would be. Then there was, what is the secret you never tell your parents? This one comes from the Dopic, responded on YouTube. I think that all kids have secrets they'll never tell their parents, even if they're not that big. An example is learning about drugs and sex. I mean, when's the last time a parent has sat their kid down and taught them about the birds and the bees? In a way, this is a secret because you never tell your parents that you know about it, but I guess they do know. But it's still a secret, kind of. Yeah, that's kind of how it was with me. I never got like a birds and bees talk from my parents. I think they just kind of figured that, in the age of, mass multimedia, I was going to figure it out eventually, I mean, I actually personally didn't really figure a lot of it out for a long time. Probably till I was like really in high school, because it just didn't click for me. It wasn't one of those things. And to be honest, it was nothing I ever really concerned myself with. I didn't like drugs and sex, really. I just didn't really, it's not like it wasn't really in my presence until I went to high school. Really my second year of high school, really. I was just like, I just did different stuff, I kind of lived in my own little world type of thing. So I mean, I had lots of friends and, I heard about stuff like that, but it's not, I just didn't take an interest in wanting to learn more about it. I just kind of was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go and, throw a football around or shoot a basketball around. I didn't really concern myself too much with it. But that, only lasts for so long before biology starts to set in and you start to get interested in different things. Not true for everybody, but I guess that's my personal experience. I hope that's not TMI. So then the one from last week's episode was, who ruined your Christmas morning and how did they do it? So the first one here comes from Phil Savannah. How dare you not read responses from the week before? 2024 is ruined. Maybe one day I'll be able to stop crying. Well, I read them here for you, Phil, so I hope you can stop crying now. You officially are allowed to stop crying right now. Stressed Human is... Oh, wait, did I read the question? So yeah, who ruined your Christmas morning? So my Stressed Human says, my biological father refused to use chains Christmas Eve on heavy snow. I'm guessing chains on your vehicle. Snow, because my truck is made for this. And I got into a car accident taking my sister and I back to my mom's. So I was spending Christmas in pain. Yeah, that's... Oh my God. That's unfortunate. That's definitely... What a classic just like man, like toxic masculinity, fucking, mansplain. Like, it's just like, you don't know. Like, you just think that because you're wearing a flannel, that lets you be able to dictate that you can, that the car doesn't need chains on it. It's like, come on. Like, men are so tied to their identities with cars and mechanical things. It's like, I think we can all offer an explanation that there's black ice on the road. Okay, I don't think this truck, even the best winter tires, weren't made for the black ice that is on the road right now. So, you know what? I'm just gonna not get in this car. Next one comes from the Green Changeling. I shot a drone into the air. It fell to earth. I knew not where. What? I don't know if this is a reference to something. I shot a drone into the air. It fell to earth. I knew not where. So did you ruin your own Christmas morning by playing with your new drone and then losing it? That would be really tough. That would be so freaking tough. Flies the drone, expensive freaking $1,000 drone, beautiful 4K camera, gone just like that. You know what? If you love something, you just tell your parents. If you love something, instead set it free. So yeah, well, we spent $2,000 on that for you. So find it. Next one comes from Gid. I don't personally have a story, but my mom does. When she was younger, on Christmas morning, after she opened up her presents, her stepmom sold her brand new presents and her father's truck. It was returned. Wait, what? Christmas morning, after she opened up her presents, her stepmom sold her brand new presents and her father's truck. It was returned. So they sold her presents after she opened them? That would be so, like, yeah, we're only going to give you the idea of having presents. That's what we're going to tell you. We're going to give you all the excitement without any of the actually lasting, uses of any of the presents that you wanted. And the last one comes from the Dopic. Who ruined your Christmas morning? My alarm clock. I planned on sleeping in because my family planned on having a late party, but the This little shit woke me up. I was grumpy for the rest of the day. Also, the fact that it didn't snow didn't help. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Luke. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year. You know what? I had, there was a response. Was it on this episode or a previous episode? Someone responded, and they said that something about their birthday. Was it Gid? Did I not read this whole thing? No. Wait, somebody commented about how it's their birthday. Okay, maybe that person decided to delete their comment. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I know that somebody who listens to the show commented something about it being their birthday on January something. It was like supposed to be today, I guess, but I can't remember whose that was. But anyways, happy birthday to that person. So shout out to that person. I think they were like, they said something about how it was a good episode and they didn't have anything to say, but if I could shout out their birthday. So shout out to whoever commented that. I can't seem to find your comment. I'm looking on the last week. I have 4 responses and I don't see anything about your birthday. But anyways, I will shout out a birthday if someone's got a birthday going on. So if it is your birthday, happy birthday. All right, why don't we hop into this week's episode? So this week's episode is, and it comes from our main favorite page upon the vast sea of the internet, is Askreddit. And what hobby is an instant red flag? Now, this one's might be controversial, folks, because I don't know, man. If you're in, like Sam and I were talking about this the other day. Sam, my roommate, if you don't know who that is, he's been on previous episodes. If you want, you can go find him. Sam's a very funny guy. This one might cause a bit of division here because we were just talking. If you're an adult and your hobby is Disney, you know, you like collect Disney things and you're like a Disney adult and you like go there and like your whole hobby sort of centers around Disney. That's I think that is like what's worse than a red flag? All right, what's worse than a red flag? Like I don't even know, like a skull and crossbones flag, a corrosion symbol, you know, a hazard, a biohazard symbol. That is what that is. Okay, a radioactive material symbol. That's what that is to me. I think Disney adults are some of the utterly most terrifying people on this planet. I'm scared of the Disney adult. All right, this truly terrifies me. So, all right, why don't we just hop in? I'm sorry if that's discriminating against anyone, and we all have childish hobbies. Don't get me wrong, some of us we do, but Disney is just that one's different. Okay, it's different. Disney adults are unhinged. They are scary. First one comes from WS178. Someone on Hinge asked what my hobbies are, and there are a lot, so I listed them out to the best of my ability. She was really happy that I didn't say I was into board games. I forgot board games. So I told her that I actually am into board games, and she ghosted me. What does she have against board games? Like, I don't understand. What's the beef there? How do you do you suck? Like, it's like, you know what? I can't be with someone who likes board games. It's childish. It's immature. I always lose. It's like, well, childish? I don't think so. Immature? Yeah, I don't think so. I think board games are there's a board game cafe here in town. That you always lose? Maybe you just suck. Maybe it's more of your ego. I think you dodged a bullet there. Someone was like, just wouldn't stop talking. Just their massive red flag was just, and I cannot be with someone who's into board games. It's like, really? That's where you're drawing the line? Board games? Like, I feel like there's a lot worse. I think you're like really lowering your dating pool here. If you're like, fuck it, I'll play a board game. I was playing board games in Christmas with my family. Like, board games are a very normal activity. Like, that's where you're going to draw the line? You know? You don't care about, I don't know, someone collecting dead animals or something? No, that's fine. Monopoly? Pfft. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, buddy. Next one comes from Always Choose Chaos. My friend told me, excuse me, after like 8 months of knowing her, she goes out into the woods and collects animal carcasses and processes into art. She uses acid to melt the metal, or to melt off the skin and pose the skeleton. Makes pelts, etc. I was shocked that she'd keep such an awesome hobby secret for so long. My brother said it's because it makes her look like a psycho, and that boiling bodies is a serial killer's hobby. I said that. It's funny. I said that thing. I didn't even read this next response. That was just completely unrelated. That's so weird. Reply from Tanman721. I can fix her. Yeah. Yeah. I can fix her, bro. Really? It seems like every time you try to get intimate, she's just, I really thought that tonight maybe we could just share a glass of wine, really get to know each other just on that deeper level. I really, really want to get to know you. Okay, well, maybe I should just tell you about the first animal carcass I boiled. That's really getting to know me. I don't know. I was thinking more like, what was it like growing up? Like, what were your parents like? Like, what was... do you have any, like, what's your relationship like with your siblings, like, type of thing, Yeah, that stuff is just, no, I don't want to talk about that stuff. Why don't we talk about, the last time I poured acid on this deer carcass that I found. It was just such a mess, and let me tell you about the first time I tried using acid on a deer carcass. Oh, that's a story. That's something you really want to hear. Everything seems to come back to boiling dead animals and doing weird things and processing them into art. This sounds like a very Jeffrey Dahmer-esque humor. All right, this is like, well, I definitely know someone else who would enjoy that type of activity. But things didn't turn out very well for him. If you know anything about the story or have seen the Netflix series, things didn't turn out well for him at all. So, I don't know. I think maybe you should try a new hobby. I think this might be a gateway hobby. Okay, I'm just concerned a little bit here. Next one comes from Mitchie Poo the Dawn. As a DJ, I don't tell women I DJ until I know she actually likes me. Always seem douchey telling women I DJ because most DJs are douchey. Is being a DJ a red flag? Like I don't know. It depends on what you're like. I feel like the image that comes to mind when I think DJ is just like a dude like wearing a graphic tee of like a dragon and all the graphics are all cracked, and it's like a red t-shirt with a backwards hat on, and he's got like DC shoes on. He's like baggy jeans, and he's just like a DJ from like 2008, just like Jersey Shore type of like. Oh, this song is so underground, you have to listen to it. It's like, that sounded very similar to the last 200 songs you played for me. This is one long song, one mix. No, you gotta hear where the beat goes. Yeah, it's it's just, no, you didn't hear the before the like, there's a subtle differences, like it's an art. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to hate on DJs if you're a DJ. I think DJing is kind of sick, especially if you're good. If you're a good DJ, because let me tell you this though. I think this is why this is not a red flag. Because the only way it's a red flag is if you're a bad DJ. I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here, folks. I'm not going to make this too long, but this is one of my pet peeves about music out and bars and clubs where there's a DJ. Some DJs just love playing just obscure music or stuff that it's just like not everyone knows. You are appealing to the masses here, okay? I'm getting on a soapbox right now, okay? You are appealing. You have to kind of go to the lowest common denominator. All right? I don't know about some underground deep house fucking song that you discovered in 2011. Like, I'm not going to be aware of this song. Okay, you need to just play the hits, play the songs everyone knows. You are facilitating the environment. So way to turn this into a green flag is be a good DJ. How about that? Oh, DJs piss me off sometimes. All right, next one comes from Gynoceros. I've heard a lot of people say that horse girls are crazy. You know what? My sister is a horse girl, okay? And, like, I love my sister, okay? And I'm not going to stand by and let false things and false claims be attributed to my sister. This is not one of them. My sister is insane. And she's into horses. Just kidding. I love you, Elena. But you know you're kind of crazy. Reply from questionable ballot. One of my best friends starting from high school was a horse girl. We stayed close friends up until she got married when we got around 30 years old. I met up with her for lunch one day and casually told me she tried to stab her husband in a fit of rage. I never knew she had it in her. What made her flip her lid, you may ask? She married a horse trainer and he accidentally hurt her horse one day. How could you lead the horse into a gopher hole? I didn't lead the horse. It just stepped in the hole. Okay, it's hard to see. I'm trying to trail guide here. I can't. Just the horse stepped in the hole. You know what? You know what about you? You know what I think about that response? You know what I think about that? Shing. Holy shit, that's quite the intense response. Reply from Hydro Spanner. Can confirm. It's not quite as mysterious as some make it out to be. Horses are huge pets that are enormous time and money sink to own. Basically, if you're going to have horses, you're going to mold your life around horse ownership rather than adding a pet to your life like a dog or a cat and making adjustments. You'll need a barn, field, fences, hay, a trailer, a truck to pull the trailer, shoes, vet stuff, tack. Basically, deciding to own horses means devoting most aspects of your life to do it. And that few aspects that won't be devoted to it are the most inconsequential ones, like your choice of dinnerware or your choice of knife to stab your husband with. All of that devotion is usually combined with some sort of competition with the horse, so you're adding a stressful element to all of this as well. The end result is that dating a horse girl pretty much means to her that you're auditioning to prove to her how well you can fit into the life and role she already has planned out, and has it planned out since she was like 10. It's not an equal partnership. This is quite the critical analysis hole here. This is like an academic paper. The horses were first and non-negotiable, so you're pretty much along for the ride. You're going to become a horse guy, and you have to have a truck and share in the horse stuff and spend all of your available time and money on them, or she doesn't have any use for you. All that being said, however, the ride can be fun. You just have to... I've had fun riding horses. You just have to know when it's time to hop off. I stuck around way too long, and it was the ugliest breakup I've ever gone through. And really, the only one of my exes that I could see in a bar tomorrow and wouldn't say hi. Looking back, she certainly was crazy, but being as generous as possible, I was also young and happily ignored all sorts of red flags she was waving, because hot and fun. She looked great and was fun to spend time with, and was good in bed. For an early 20s guy, that's really all the further you look before you leap. Still, the horses themselves were really, truly incredible animals. I was certainly glad to have gotten that experience with them, and while I was in that relationship, caring for them, going on trail rides, etc. I wouldn't ever want to own one, but I can see how it becomes an obsession. Well, okay, that's interesting, but I think I'm going to hit a board on that just because I'm not looking for a stab wound in the near future. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe you like to live a life on the edge. Okay, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you're just, you're just one of those people. You're a risk taker. You're an adrenaline junkie. And you just want to do something, You just want to feel the rush of almost dying as your horse wife stabs you multiple times with a butter knife. So, you never know. Next one comes from Juggernaut OK 8669. Doing pranks for content. Prank videos, I don't know. I feel like I've still seen some genuine prank stuff every once in a while, but the best prank stuff, I've said this on the podcast before, but I've lost a lot of respect for prank channels that I used to like, because back in the day, a lot of prank channels would make the humor and the joke and the prank on, they would make themselves look like the idiot, and they would just like to get people's reactions, right? But when it started turning into messing with people, destroying private property. Like sometimes, I mean, I don't know sometimes some of the people they would pick on would be kind of crappy people, and then they feed into that, and it's kind of funny. Like, oh God, oh my God. I don't know if I should, no, I'm not going to talk about this. But anyways, point is that most prank channels nowadays have just become so much about just fucking with everyday people, and I don't like that. It's not funny. These people are just trying to live their lives, you know what I mean? Like, stop using them for content. It's like, I just pranked this person. I ran away with their child. Cried. Must watch. Baby died. Like, bro. Okay, relax. All right. And all of them all say now, it's all this like stupid stuff about cancel culture. It's like, oh, they're trying to cancel us. Well, it's like, okay, yeah, well, when you alienate homeless people, probably not great. When you go up to people just like moaning in their ear, okay, that's not funny, all right? When you borderline assault other people, not a funny joke, okay? That's not cancel culture. That's just like common decency. That's just like the law, okay? You don't assault another human being. Oh, this is an interesting one. So this next one comes from Imperfection Lad. Not particularly a red flag, but sneakerheads always give me the irks. I can't pinpoint why. This is interesting. I'm a sneakerhead, so I collect sneakers and clothes and stuff. I guess maybe the criticism, and I understand this from a critical point of view, is that it could be seen as overly materialistic. But I can understand that. Like, it's just like all you're about is the materials and the clout chasing and the looking cool. That's all that matters to you, is like, and like external validation and stuff. And which is a very valid criticism. You know, I guess my perspective on it is just I'm massive into basketball. I love basketball so much. And how I started getting into collecting sneakers and collecting clothing was basketball. Because like, this is just a massive culture of sneakers and athletic wear and just fashion in general within basketball culture. And I also really like hip-hop music too. And I think that there's also like a really tie-in with basketball, sneakers, and hip-hop culture. And I think that stuff just appeals to me. It makes me feel like I'm a part of a community. I don't necessarily wear it for anybody else, but it makes me feel as though I'm a part of my imagined community, I guess. And then when I see other people who have that, I don't judge people for not doing it. It's just when I see other people out who do wear stuff that I'm wearing, it's fun. You kind of like recognize, and you say, oh, hey, I like those shoes. I know when those dropped, and you know about the sneakers, you know, like the history of the sneakers, and you can talk about, you know, different things that are going on in that world. Like, it just, and also I think fashion to me is like a form of expression a little bit. Like, I think, well, I mean, I don't like a little bit. I think it's like everything. Like, I think how I present to myself to the world is often like a reflection of how I feel about the world, how I feel about myself. I think dressing for me is a form of like artistic expression. Clothing in and of itself is a form of like artistic expression. It doesn't have to be, but I think clothing and as well as dressing yourself is a form of artistic expression. I think, like, especially when it comes to like designer stuff, sneaker stuff, like there's a lot of really remarkable intellectual pursuit that goes into design. And I just have a lot of appreciation for engineering and design, especially when it comes to things like sneakers and aesthetic. Like, I just have I just appreciate things like that aesthetic, and I view it as an art form. I view it less as like a, you know, because this is where I wouldn't necessarily say sneakerheads, but I hate hype beasts though, because what hype beasts do is they just like buy whatever's popular because they just have a shit ton of money. You know, like I saved up, like I had a job all throughout high school, like from grade 9 to grade 12. I definitely did get, some really nice gifts from my parents, but I bought a lot of my stuff on my own. Like I'd say like a majority of the sneakers that I own, I especially my really nice stuff, like I bought on my own. And but sneakerheads, like hypebeasts, they just like buy whatever's popular because they want to fit in, and it's like this external validation thing, and that's where I don't fuck with the hypebeast type of thing. Hypebeast kind of has two meanings now. Sneakerheads have kind of like taken over the hypebeast term and kind of like owned it a little bit, but there is still like the original sort of like idea of a hypebeast was somebody who just buys whatever because they have a shit ton of money, and they just buy whatever's popular because they just want other people to like it and just want to flex on other people, and they don't actually give a shit about the clothing, about the designer, about the aesthetic, about the history, any of that stuff, right? Like that, to me, that stuff is interesting. So I guess that's where you like draw the line. So let's see what I went on a long rant about that, but reply from Met Mathis. Collecting stuff out of interest is fine, but I think sneakerheads often just follow a trend. To me, they feel like the kind of person who brags about their expensive stuff, even though nobody is in the room. Even the room thinks it's impressive, which is fair. I've met like sneakerheads like that for sure. Like I totally get it. I 100% get the criticism. I've met a lot of sneakerheads that are like that. That are just like. But I also met a lot of sneakerheads that don't care about stuff like that, because I think one of the biggest things too so I could go on about this forever, but I think one of the biggest things too when it comes to sneaker collecting is that you buy what you like. All right, like this is one of the main things I've kept very core to my belief about buying things. I think maybe there was a certain time when I was younger where I was buying things that other people liked because I just wanted to be liked more, especially when I was like a kid and I moved to a new city and stuff. I was trying to be liked. But as I got older and I started getting introduced into the culture more, I definitely started to understand that within the culture there's like a strong sort of emphasis from a group within the culture that says like you should be buying the sneakers that you like. If people in the comments on Instagram are saying this is whack, like whatever, it doesn't matter, because like this is the perfect example is the Air Jordan 2. The Air Jordan 2 in sneaker culture is generally one of the most like criticized, hated sneakers ever. Peter Moore, I think, designed the Air Jordan 1 and the Air Jordan 2. And he was in the Air movie, in case you didn't see it. I think it's Peter Moore was his name. He designed, and so the Air Jordan 2 was kind of a flop. It didn't really do very well, and it had a lot of criticism from the market, and just a lot of just consumers just didn't like the shoe. And then Tinker Hatfield or whatever Tinker's last name was. But anyways, he's a I can't get this wrong. Tinker Hatfield, yeah, I'm right. Anyways, Tinker Hatfield came in the 90s and took over the Jordan line and really took it over for quite some time, and his designs were much more popular. But I love the Air Jordan 2. Okay, I think it's a great silhouette. I love the aesthetics. I love the ergonomics of the shoe. I love it. But I don't care if people don't like it. I've always loved the shoe. I think when the first time I saw it, I really loved it. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about sneakers because, this is my show, but I understand that people don't want to just hear me talk about sneakers. But anyways, in case you wanted to talk to me about sneakers, I could talk to you about sneakers forever. Anyways, next one comes from Pumpkin Peel's Great. I knew someone online who would troll people online. They'd seriously get a kick out of going online and saying controversial things just for fun. No. The hobbies, the worst hobby. Swatting people, bro. That shit is fucked up. If you've never heard of swatting people, I'm sure a lot of you know what swatting is, but this is basically where like a streamer will be online streaming, and one of their like viewers will basically just call in a bomb threat, or like someone who they think they basically call in a bomb threat to the SWAT, like to the SWAT team or to the police, like local police, saying that the person who's streaming online is gonna like blow some shit up or like has a terrorist plan or something, and they need to go and invade their house. And the SWAT team comes and like fucking arrests them and like harasses them and abuses them. That is like, what? How is that like a hobby? Like people get arrested for this, like. This is what I like to do in my spare time. I like to make people feel scared for their lives. I like to take someone who's really ambitious and ruin their lives a little bit. Just make them feel as almost scared as possible with someone aiming an assault rifle at their forehead. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that seems to me like the greatest kind of hobby. It really speaks to me. It really calls to me. It's not like other hobbies, okay? Next one comes from Fleety Mac Attack. An answer I get a lot is, I like to chill. Granted, it's not all the time, but most of the time. That's just code for, I have no hobbies. Tends to with people who expect you to entertain them. Oh my God. This is what it feels like to carry a conversation. Oh. It's like one of the worst feelings in the world. You're just talking to someone and they're like, and you're like, are you like interested, or like, do you have anything to say? And they're like, no, it's fine. You can keep talking. I don't really have anything to say. Well, do you have any hobbies, interests, like things you like? It's like, well, no, not really. I don't really like, no, I don't. I like to hang. I like to chill. I like to vibe. I like to just lounge. I'm just that kind of person. All right. I just kind of float around, just kind of just feeling the vibe wherever I go, It's like, so you scroll on TikTok all day. It's just a constant stream of Instagram reels for you. That's kind of just the gist of what I'm understanding about what you do with your pastime. Yes, let's just say, what do you guys think is worse? Is having no hobbies worse than having a red flag hobby? I don't know, folks. Having no hobbies is a pretty giant red flag. I get surprised when people say that they don't have hobbies, or they just do kind of one thing and one thing only. It's like, what do you mean? Like, do you not have interests? Like, do you like music or movies? And it's like, it's like, what do you mean? Like, I can't believe people who are not into music. That just blows my freaking mind. Okay, like, yeah, I'm not into the most effortless thing on the planet that makes you feel all types of wonderful, great emotions, and it costs basically nothing. Yeah, I'm like not into that thing. It's like, what do you mean you're not into music? You don't listen to music. Like, oh my God. Like those people, stay weary of those people. It's like, yeah, I don't really like music. It's like, what do you mean you don't like music? That's like, what? It's like saying you don't like food. It's like, what do you mean food? Like, okay, maybe you don't like this type of music, but like, you're just saying all of it? I don't like shelter. What do you mean? Like, what? Yeah, I don't like being inside anywhere. It's like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Like, yeah, that's a massive red flag for me. Wiretap Studios replies and says, sometimes it's code for smoking weed until I'm in a vegetative state is my whole personality. And that's very true. That's true as well. People know red flag hobby is people who are into smoking weed, like just people who are into it. Like, I don't have a problem if you smoke weed. I mean, weed's legal here in Canada. It's been for a while. Like, I don't have any. Obviously, I don't really have any negative views on it. I really don't. But people who make their whole personality revolving around weed. Imagine if someone did that with alcohol. Yeah, I get drunk every day. I drink all day, and I'm just in it because of I'm just interested in the alcohol. I'm just interested in where it comes from. What the flavors are. It's like, okay, well, that's interesting, but do you have to be drunk though? Like, do you have to be always like drinking it? Like, if you like weed so much, like you can still know all those things and learn and like appreciate those things, but don't smoke it 24/7. Something tells me that that's not going to work out great for your overall like human health. Something is just, I'm getting an inclination that that's just not going to turn out well for you. I think one of the major sort of scientific revelations that we've had over the last 100 years is that smoking kills. Okay, smoking is not good for you. All right, like I think that's Yeah, people. Yeah, but that's a massive one. Is the people who make smoking? It's like they have all the different kinds of weeds and ways you can smoke it, and this and that and that and this, and they wear the weed T-shirts and they got all the stuff all over. It's like, this is concerning. All right, I'm like worried for you. This is not good. This is not a hobby. This is an addiction. Okay, yeah, I just love feeling not like my normal self. If I'm like not high, I just like hate it. It's like that's a problem. Okay, that's a major problem. Next one comes from Totally Not a Car. Yeah, look at this one. Probably not having hobbies. Everyone should have something that they strive for and make them happy to put effort in. You're not a bad person if you have no hobbies, but I bet you're not as happy as you could be either. Sleep is not a hobby. Eating shouldn't be a hobby. Researching, mapping, and touring local or exotic restaurants could be though, and so is cooking. Yeah, that's very true. The sleep is, people. I've had people say that, like, what do you like do for fun? It's like, I sleep. It's like, okay, you're not being quirky. Okay, you're not being like different. All right. Oh, you get tired like 100% of all human beings ever. Okay, like sleep doesn't make you different. Oh, I'm like a tired person. Okay, I'm tired too. Cool. Like, oh my God, get out of bed. Next one comes from Keith UY23. Cockfighting. It's so common in the Philippines, though. Most of our devoted neighbors to this hobby will literally let their entire family skip meals just so they can have bet money. Oh, just so they can have bet money. Oh, interesting. That's kind of just a weird grammar there. Yeah, I think in like a lot of places, like at least just maybe over here, that's kind of an automatic. You know what's a red flag hobby, guys? I'm just gonna go on a limb and say it. All right, judge me if you want. Okay, judge me if you want. I'm just gonna say, cockfighting. I think I'm thinking that's a red flag hobby. Making animals like fight and kill each other for betting and money for no reason. Yeah, inflicting harm on animals for the sole purpose of. Or making animals inflict harm on each other for the sole purpose of betting money. Yeah, I think that's probably this is maybe just my Western perspective talking, but if somebody told me they were into cockfighting, I'd be like, this relationship is not going to go far. This is going to be cut off pretty quick. I believe what you're doing is an immoral thing. But you know what? We probably have many immoral hobbies in the West that other people in other places probably think that we have some pretty terrible hobbies as well. So anyways, why don't we end it there for today, folks? Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast. I love each and every single one of you. Remember, this is the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Remember, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. And remember to answer this week's Reddit question in Spotify by going to the description and clicking the icon that says reply, and you will be notified when a response is published, and I will read that response out loud on the next week's following episode. Peace out. Love you. Bye.